Yeah. You just gotta hold on. 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 Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta hold on.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Who Are We podcast is happening right
Live.
Who
now.
are we?
What's up? What's up, fam? What's up, y'all?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We live out here.
We are live.
Like legit live. So, man, I'm excited.
I am too.
I'm super excited for what we're jumping into. Hey, want to say this first and foremost too. Thank you to everybody who has jumped on, who has followed us on our pages, IG, TikTok, Facebook, subscribed on subscribed on YouTube. Thank y'all. We love y'all so much. We actually had the opportunity to jump on a live a couple days ago and just talk to those who have already followed, who have already started supporting, and let them know just some thanks and just give them some information about what Who Are We podcast is all about. You got to know us a little bit. You got to see our craziness.
Tiny.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a
you got
little.
to see who we are. So, yeah, we're about to jump into some good stuff. So yeah, but as you know, it's your boy. I'm Marcus.
I'm KC.
This is your boy Dre Sean.
And I'm Shalise. And we are Who Are We?
We are Who Are We? So yeah,
So this morning has been a morning.
My
Has.
God.
And honestly, even our live that we had was chaotic. It was just not our normal, like, together vibe. And so this morning it's been a morning.
I literally had a meltdown. Sat on the floor, and Jay was like, "What's wrong with you?" Whole lot.
Her baby
Brayden.
wasn't getting
What'd
it
he do?
together.
What'd he
Just,
do?
I mean, crying. Wouldn't let me or Dre put him down. Wasn't hungry. Just wanted to be held. So literally, had to hold him while I'm trying to brush
And
my
she should have
teeth.
just let him cry. I told her just
Right.
put him down and let him cry.
I was
Get
like,
yourself
just
together.
let him cry.
Yes.
First of all, Braden be screaming like a grown man. Like when he it don't just be like, he be like,
Like his
screaming.
arm. Like last night, Dre said he had a whole episode.
Whole episode.
For
like
what?
just crazy because he just like attention. He don't want to be put down.
4 months old.
He
Put
don't
him
want
down
to
and
be
cry.
changed. He don't want you to wipe his snot.
Shalice just
like,
thinks
no
just let him
nothing.
cry. Just let him
crazy.
cry.
I mean,
let him
not
cry.
for
Let
a
him
whole
cry.
hour. We're not letting the baby cry for a whole hour, but we need to get ready to go to church. We need to get ready to go to
But he
work.
never does this. Like
And
we
so you
have
just
a
put him down and cry. He'll be all right.
we have a great routine. Like during the week and even on Sundays, he does like, babe, he's easy. But I don't know what it was about today or
I don't know. He's just been in that phase of where I want all of your attention and you cannot get dressed. You can't brush your teeth. You can't brush your hair.
And he'll keep doing that if you keep letting him. And you'll always be
Real crazy.
wrapped around his cries. Like, you'll always work around his cries.
around it.
Like his cries are hurting him. He'll be all right. He'll be okay.
I'm a new mom. Shalice is a mother
have
of three.
three.
So she's
Three.
she's a vet.
I have 14, 9, and 8. And I also have a lot of nieces and nephews. Like, it's like 16 or 18 of them. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot. So,
I have no kids,
clearly.
but I have all the kids at the same time. Yeah. So today was a morning. It was a morning.
Alarm's going off.
I didn't want to talk to nobody.
Whole
I'm
attitude.
dead serious.
Whole
When we got
attitude.
to our shoot, didn't want to talk to nobody. I was like, y'all are dumb. Y'all
Oh,
are
y'all.
Yeah,
Hold on,
y'all.
y'all. I'm not into y'all
Not Kia. Kia's.
or Dre.
Oh, he had to get y'all's coffee.
No, wait.
Oh,
He had to get y'all's coffee.
ooh.
Okay, he had to get out. I mean,
Dre is into y'all.
how?
He should have already had the coffee. He should have already got the coffee when he
I got
stopped.
Braden. I got a kid. You're single.
Who should have got the coffee?
You.
Dre?
You.
Me?
Marcus, you were literally waiting completed.
First
done.
of all, y'all don't know what I was doing this morning. Your coffee would have been watered down. It would have been. I've been out in the streets. Like y'all just getting up and rolling or whatever y'all doing. I've been out just
Hot
because y'all
coffee
don't.
can be rewarmed.
Just because y'all don't know what I'm doing, y'all just think I'm just out here doing nothing. I got things to do just because y'all don't know.
attitude.
So
attitude.
Whole
literally,
attitude.
so this is what happened. So
Yeah, 'cause
we're out rolling. I'm doing my thing, whatever the case is. And so Dre wants to shoot a text. Hey, does anybody want to do a coffee run?
self-destructed number one.
So first of all,
Self-destruct number one.
I'm already doing something. And so by the time I look at the message, Shalice talking about, oh, I can get some, but I'm sure Mark is going to get some too. So I didn't respond. I say, oh, I already got some. And Dre said, oh, for us or for you? I said, for me. And so I'm cool. So I'm rolling. And so now I'm doing what I'm doing, whatever the case is. And now Shalice done forgot stuff.
I did.
That we needed.
I did.
I mean, just.
So I went back home, but I was never planning on having to get coffee. So I was going to go an extra trip to grab the coffee. But then when I left the house in a rush to go get the coffee, I forgot two of the things I needed to get. So I went back home to get those things. I called, and they couldn't get coffee. So then I'm like, Marcus said he was sitting here ready, so you can grab coffee.
No, I didn't say I was sitting here. I didn't say that. Let's pull the message up. See, that's the thing. People always want to tell you what you said.
Oh my God!
Like I had a conversation.
So,
no,
this is not the subject
it's
that
not.
we're talking about.
People always want to
He's
say
mad
what
about
you
something
said.
else right now, so-
I tell people this all the time. I say, I'm gonna remember what I said. You may not remember what I said. You may not even remember what you said, but I'm gonna remember what I
My
said.
Lord.
I am not a forgetful person. I'm very like I'm there. I'm there. I'm not gonna forget what I said. I'm not gonna forget whatever the case is. She reading the message right now.
I am.
And so I said, or she said,
Since I'm prepared and waiting.
and wait, I didn't say I was here.
Doesn't matter where you waiting.
Right.
You could have got coffee while you was waiting.
You don't know who I was with or what I was doing.
See, this is the issue with Marcus. Like, he will not specify exactly what he is doing and where he's at because
Right.
he's going to, I'm waiting. Well, of course, we're going to think that you're here if you're waiting. What, you're waiting at the gas station? Like, where are you waiting at?
But
The
then you
point
also
is-
have to know Marcus don't like. You're not good with
Change of plans.
change of plans
At all.
Right.
You had your whole morning set up.
Which led to our issue this morning with the house because the original plan was I was coordinating. I have been the sole coordinator with the place of this recording. And when we were on the phone, somebody said, I already talked to him. So my assumption,
Wrong.
which was wrong, I will admit that. But because he butted into my responsibilities, I backed off.
So
So I backed off the responsibility because he butted in and had that conversation. So then I left it alone. I did not get clarity on what specifics were discussed, but because Marcus said he already spoke to, and you don't need to.
did not say that.
I didn't say that.
Did not
No,
say that.
I didn't say you didn't say that. I'm saying you said you already spoke to him. I said, I'm going to call. And you said, I already did that. So my assumption, which again was wrong, because clearly he didn't get details,
So what did you?
he should have never spoke to him.
What did y'all talk about?
He should have never. He should have never spoke to who I was supposed to coordinate with. So going forward, don't get into my job.
I will listen. I will never again. And on the next podcast, when something goes wrong, I'm gonna sit here like this and say, I talk to no one. I talk to
All right.
no one.
That's our chat, our open chat.
Anywho.
Now we need to dive into our conversation. He had to get that out, y'all.
Yeah.
We're gonna
No,
let him
I
get
didn't-
that
y'all
out.
started that.
Because,
Y'all started that conversation about
You
this.
did.
No, you said this morning was a lie. This morning was a
sure
lie.
I did.
You
But
said
I
it was
wasn't-
just so much.
It was, but I wasn't going to go into detail. But since we went into it, we got it out. It's out there. Welcome to Who Are We Podcast.
Welcome, y'all.
This is who we are.
This is who we are.
It's who we are.
Yes.
So,
My God.
what's our discussion today about? Where did it come from, Dre?
Let's chat, Dre, because Dre got something to say.
Yes.
So, me and Kia, my lovely wife over there, we just celebrated our, third year?
Yes. 3
Congratulations.
years.
Yes. So we celebrate our 3rd year anniversary. If you guys don't know, I am married. She is married. We have a child together that we were just talking about. His name is Braden. Shout out to Braden.
Hey, Braden. Love you.
But so here's the question, or the scenario rather. We was at the cabin, and I just randomly asked Kia one of the days that we was there, because literally we was there with no entertainment. Like, there was literally nothing. No Wi-Fi, no TV, no anything.
No music.
No music.
No light, no power.
No microwave.
Building the fire.
Just up in the mountains.
Cold.
Cold. But so I asked her, which I don't even know what led to this like scenario. But I said, what if like 3 years ago I was gay and I had sexual relations with a guy, but I no longer engage in that activity now that we are married, although I'm still attractive to men. Like, I'm still, like, I could look at a man and be like, oh, he's cute, or whatever the case may be. And but I suppress it. I don't act on it because I am married to you. Like, would you leave me now that we've been married for 3 years? We have a child, all of these other things. Would you still leave me at that point, or would you stay in our marriage?
Child.
So you're saying this 3 years in, I'm now telling you this?
I am
And she
now
never
telling
had
you
no
this.
clue.
She had no
no
clue.
inkling, no signs, no wonders.
Never had a conversation about
Never
this
had
before.
a-
Never had a
So
conversation.
had she ever asked you, like, were you ever, and you lied, and then you lied, or you just never had that conversation?
Just never had the conversation, because it's like, I'm delivered. I've been set free. So about the time that you and I met, it's like, I don't have that inkling no more. I don't even like have those type of thoughts anymore, although I still find men attractive. Right? It's just like, you know, maybe you was sleeping around with other females,
Right.
but since I met you, I no longer act on those things, although I still find other women attractive. And so my thing is, because I had sexual relations
Right.
with a guy, and all of those things, and now I'm wanting to confess to you after 3 years
Right.
about my past. Would you stay at this point now that we are married? We're married for 3 years, and now we have a child.
So there's a whole lot. Obviously, we're
That's
going
a
to
whole
unwrap
lot.
it. It's a
I
whole
wanna
lot
repeat
because
what she said.
for me, my thing is about honesty and truth. So if we haven't had a discussion and you didn't lie to me, and now you're telling me, I can't be mad at you, right, for not sharing that. Well, I may assume, we talked about assumptions, that you would want to share that with me at some point. I don't know what's tied to your feelings about sharing your fears and all of that. I would feel hurt that you didn't feel comfortable to share that with me, but I couldn't be mad at you, right? Because it's like, you didn't lie.
Right.
And so for me, it's like, if you didn't lie to me, if I never flat out asked you, like nowadays, some people do have those conversations. Like, hey, have you ever slept with the opposite sex, same sex, whatever the case is? But if we never had that conversation, I wouldn't be mad at you, but it would be a lot to swallow. And I kind of want to know, like, why would you tell me this now? Like, I'd rather just have never known. But then it's all the flip side. What if one day we run into one of your exes and then I find out that way? So I would be glad that you told me, but I kind of would feel it would be a lot to unpack. I mean,
Would you look at me differently?
absolutely.
So you would look at your husband differently?
Okay, again, this is my thought. I think I would. I think I absolutely would, because then I have to now, like, if I trust my husband, obviously I trust you to never cheat on me, but it's like, I know as a natural woman, like, if I see my husband looking at a woman, I can tell, okay, he's attracted to her, he's not. And I don't have to feel like, you know, and so now I have to add men to that category too. Like, but again, it's
but
about
is there
trust.
a difference?
It's a trust and honesty. For me, yes.
Okay.
me-
Explain that.
Why there's a difference? Because I feel like for me, and there's a whole lot to why I don't want to. This is probably not the conversation, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I don't like for my man to have dated people or be attracted to people that look a certain way. And it's probably a bias, but like it's probably real strong to say this.
Wait,
but
what?
Like
Look a certain way.
So for instance, I talk about I only date black men, right? Right? And so, and it's not that I'm racist. It's not that I don't like white guys. That's just what I'm attracted to. I want a man who's attracted to black women. You get what I'm saying?
Interesting.
What you're attracted to matters to me. I mean,
My God.
it's probably wrong to
I'm
say
dead.
that, but that's the case. So I don't want to date a man who's been attracted to men.
That is awful.
I know.
I never knew that about you.
It's probably not like a
Wow.
Christian mindset to have, but it's just what
That's just
We're
how you
learning something new.
that's just what I feel like. And
Everything
I'm
matters.
also the one who says looks and stuff doesn't matter to me. Personality does. So what you're attracted to is what matters to me. Like,
girl.
Wow.
I'm a scumbag.
You something. I mean, that's
I mean, that's it.
That's
very
what it is.
That's what it is.
That's who you are.
That's who.
that's very interesting. I don't want to say anything yet. Keo, I want to know what you thought and what how you
Right.
felt.
Oh, absolutely. So for me, it's just like you didn't give me the opportunity to choose what I wanted to do before we got married. Like you made the decision. I'm not gonna tell her this because I'm delivered. I don't deal with it, and she's just gonna have to be okay with that. Because we have a child, it makes it harder to be like, oh well, nah, I'm divorcing you. But man, if we ain't have Brayden, and you came to me and was just like, I still find him attractive, but I don't.
But we had 3 great years together.
Right. But
I never showed you that side of where you had to like question anything about my manhood. So now that you got new information, you are straight up is just saying, you know what, I'm out.
I'm not out. No, like it's not I'm
It's a
out.
struggle.
That would definitely
Yeah.
like. I'm gonna need some time. Like even maybe like. I go hang out somewhere else for a
Hang
few
out.
What you
days.
mean hang out somewhere else? Like,
Like,
married. So I think for me it's like if I trust you, that's where my struggle would be because
Right, 'cause
I
now-
trust you 3 years in, I trust you, and so my struggle would be like even though I feel the way that I feel about what I like my men to be attracted to, y'all know me, I probably would forgive and move on and
Yes.
still be married to you. But it would be like it would make me look differently at you.
it would definitely break trust because it's just like, okay, you've held this for 3 years. I'm naturally gonna think, what else have you not told
But do you
me?
share everything with somebody? Like when you first start dating somebody up to the point of marriage, do you share every nasty, dirty closet secret?
Dre knew every nasty, dirty thing about me
So I want to talk about
before
that.
we got married. Because I think like you deserve to know who I am before, now, all over.
But do you need to?
Absolutely.
I believe honesty is very key.
Yeah.
I do too.
I think if you and I are dating, I think that first and foremost, if you are honest about who you've been with or who you slept with or how many people that you slept with, things that you struggle with, things that you deal with, that builds trust in the relationship because I don't want to hear about something later. I don't want to be blindsided either about your struggles, right? I don't want to experience your struggles firsthand. I want to at least prepare myself
Right.
and know what I'm getting myself into. So I do believe that like in a relationship, you should definitely be honest. I think honesty is very key.
Absolutely.
I think. No, you're saying something else?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So, I have a lot to say about this and unpack. I have a lot to say about this and a lot to unpack. But speaking to what you just said, I will first speak to the point of kind of like what you just talked about honesty and transparency. And so I think there are levels to when you disclose information to someone you're dating.
Right.
But I think it gets to a point, let me say it should, in my opinion, I feel like it should get to a point if I'm about to marry you and be in covenant, intimate relationship with you and only you, like if we really want to look at it on the biblical point, which that's at the end of the day, if y'all don't know, we're Christians and everything is biblical at the end of the day. Like we're always going to go back to what does the word say? Is this biblical? Yada, yada, yada. So if we go to that, I feel like at the point that you marry someone, I don't feel like that unless it's somehow something that has just you completely forgot about, like legitimately, honestly, and genuinely completely forgot about years ago in your life. I feel like if we're going down to the altar and we're going to get married, by the time we tie the knot and we make this covenant together, you should know everything about me. You should know everything. And like not just because, and not saying like I have to go dig up and like say this. Like I said, if there's something that's just like I literally just forgot to tell you that happened 15 years ago or whatever the case is. But I feel like you should either know everything about me, or both parties, the husband and the wife, should not feel like they have to withhold anything from their spouse.
Right.
And so I think that's key. And so again, backing up to as we're dating, I think the more you grow to know this person, the more you grow to build trust with this person, it should make it easier for you to start delivering this information, because at the end of the day, I don't want something that happened years ago in my life to now be detrimental to something that's so great years later.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's
to that point, one of the things that's for me is like, I feel like honesty should come natural when you're in a relationship, right? Like when my biggest thing is if you feel like you have to hide something, that's something you should be sharing. Like if you feel like you have to hide something, then you're purposely covering it up. And one of the things that I just said is it's going to come out at some point. You may run into somebody else may not know that that's a secret between, like me and Kia are best friends, and then I marry Dre. She may assume that he knows all of my details, and she may bring up something on accident, right? Just in conversation, and she'd be like, "Oh, I thought you would have told him," because the assumption is you're getting married or you're married to this person, and so now I'm mad at my best friend because she done shared something on accident because she assuming I done talked to my husband about everything she knows. And so if you feel like you have to cover things, and that's what my thing is, I think sometimes things don't come out in conversation. Something like this is something you purposely didn't share, right? Something small, like Marcus is saying, that we just didn't get around to it. It just didn't come out, and it may come out throughout the later in our marriage. So that's why I asked you are you sharing every deep, dark secret? Some secrets are not like necessarily like deep, dark secrets. They're just things you may have never shared. And so it's like if you thought about it and you're saying nope, not going to share it now, that's something I feel like you should share, right? But if it's something that just didn't come out, that's a different thing for me. So when you say like, I just didn't tell you because I was delivered and I didn't think it was a big deal. It's like, you didn't think your sexuality was a big deal, you know? And there may be people who think that way. For people who are in the LGBTQ community, who that's their normal lifestyle, and then they come out of it. What if they don't transfer that into like, it matters who I love?
Yeah.
Because they say like, I just love people. I don't love gender, right? That's what some of the people say. And so my thought would be that now that you know me and you know how I feel about my faith base and all that, now you've purposely kept that. But if we're two people who don't have that and you just didn't share it because you just thought it was okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, but as a faith-based couple, you should know that your spouse cares about, keeping things biblical.
And as a Christian, this is probably on another note, but as a Christian, we should all confess our testimony. Like, why is it that you are hiding that?
Right.
Because if you are hiding that from me, then I'm in the mindset of, maybe you still trying to engage.
Exactly.
That's good.
Which is why I look at you differently now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because anybody that's been fully delivered, they are sharing their testimony.
Absolutely.
They're saying, you know what, this is who I am.
Yep.
This is who I was, but this is now who I am.
Right.
And it's for the purpose of maybe delivering somebody else.
Right.
And so I think even in the confines of a marriage, 3 years?
Right.
3 years you held this information and you did not tell the person that is the closest thing to you. And so I believe that honesty is very key, just going back to that, because it's like when you're in a dating process, one of the things that I look at when I look at dating, I look at how, you know, who we are as people in our relationship with God at the end of the day. Because I think that we all constantly is dating God, right? In the sense of we're devoted.
Right.
And so I am honest with him and he's going to give me his truth.
Right.
He's going to give me his truth about himself and also about me. And I think what that should look like in the dating world is that when I am dating you, even on the third date or second date, I'm in a mindset of like, I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
Like up front, because I don't got time to waste, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't got time to sit here and try to dabble with you, you know? Like, I'm going to be honest with you up front so that way I can know if this is real or not. Can you handle, do you have the capacity, do you have the spiritual maturity to be able to handle my flaws, to be able to handle my struggles and where I've been? And now, and then also, here's the thing. Now you would even understand me, because you will understand the environment that I was in. And so you would know now, like, okay, this is why he react this way. This may be a trigger word for him because he literally engaged in this lifestyle. And so now you will understand how to even communicate with me because of my past.
Right.
Because something may be a trigger to you.
Right.
Right? And so, yeah.
So you're saying first date out the coming out, you're telling everything.
For the most part, whatever I can think of, whatever the conversation.
That's scary.
Yeah, like what I'm saying.
I used to be gay. Like, you're saying that on the first
No.
date?
Well, hear me. What I'm saying is, whatever comes up in the conversation on that first date, I'm not going to withhold information. That's what I said. That's why I said, like, I'm not going to withhold anything.
Right.
So whatever I can think of, like, if we're talking, and you like, man, tell me about your past or whatever the case may be, or tell me about you, like, I'm going to just tell you about me.
Right.
And so whatever comes with that, whatever comes out of my mouth, it comes. I'm not going to think, well, we're on the first date. I'm not going to tell too much information. I'm not going to go into it thinking like that. I believe in just letting it out as it comes. I'm not worrying about if you can take it or not.
Right.
That's on you.
Yeah, that's agreeable.
Okay.
There was a book that Marcus gave me a couple years ago about dating on purpose, something like that. And I think that will decipher or differentiate. Is that right?
There it is.
There it is. Some people don't date with the purpose of anything, right? Some people are just going out, hanging out. For instance, my sister, and this is no shade to her, she'll watch this, whatever. She doesn't have a desire to be married. So when she's dating, let's say she decides to date Marcus. Marcus is coming with the mind of he's looking for a wife, right? And so there may be things that she won't share because she's not dating with the purpose of marrying you.
Right.
She's just going on a date. And so not just on a date, like she's just going to hang out and just go to dinner. I may hang out with you today. I may hang out with somebody else tomorrow. If it leads somewhere, it leads somewhere. But I don't want to think about 5 months from now. That's how her mind is when she dates. And so people like us, me and Marcus, I don't want to go on a date multiple times with a person if I have no intention of ever marrying them.
Right.
Because my intent in life is to that's not my purpose in life is to find a husband, but that's where I'm at in my life right now. My desire is to be married. And so I don't want to waste time 2 or 3 dates. I don't waste your time. I don't waste your money. I have no intention of being your friend. I want to be your wife eventually. And so, yeah, I do want to know that stuff. Day 1, day 2, day 3, date 4. But some people, Christians also, that don't desire to be married may not care right now because I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to, engage in those intimate activities. We're just going to date. So what if you're dating a guy who has no intentions at the beginning? So do you ask at the beginning, do you want to be married?
I think yes. Like what you're saying is, and I don't know if it's necessarily
Day
do you
one,
want to be
yeah.
married, like, or the
Right.
first date.
Right,
But I don't
right.
think we're going on 15 dates and we still have no
Definition.
like or been talking and chatting. And it's
Right.
like, what's your goal? Like, I'm not saying
Right.
it's even gonna be me, but like, so we know, like, I have no time to waste.
Right.
Like, I had a conversation with somebody, multiple people really, but recently with somebody, and I was just like, it really didn't even have to do it. It didn't have to do with dating or anything either. But I can't remember what we were talking about. But I was just like, my time is valuable, and so putting it into this dating perspective, I don't have time to be just not sure or not know. So
Right.
we're gonna have a conversation about, hey, what's your desire in life? Like, do you
Right.
desire to be married? Do you desire to have kids? Do you desire to build a family? Like, or is your desire to just have fun and go and hang out? I said this one time, and I guess it's kind of still on the subject, but I said this one time to this girl I was dating. We were literally dating. It wasn't super heavy or anything at all, but we definitely hung out. We were kicking it, talking all the time. It was real cool. And the thing about it was there was really nothing bad with our relationship that we had. Nothing bad, but the direction that this girl was going in, she had a lot that was coming to her, like career wise, and just going into a different direction as far as what her life looked like as a whole.
Right.
And so I literally had a conversation with her one night, and I was like, hey, I don't remember the exact wording of what it was. This was years ago, but I literally said, like, I said, I said, you don't want this. And so I think those were the exact words I said. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you don't want this. I said something to the end of you're not all the way here or with this. I was like, I think you enjoy my company. I enjoy your company. Like, there's no like questioning about that.
Right.
We have a great time together. We can talk for hours. We can chill. We can kick it. But I said, I eventually want to have a wife. I said, I want to have a wife. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. And I said, based on our conversations and what we've talked about and just kind of how the things go, you are not saying that you don't ever want that,
Right.
but I don't see you wanting that right now. And,
Right.
and it was literally quiet. Like, we were on the phone. It was literally quiet for a
hello?
second. Right. You there? And so it was quiet for a second. And so I was like, I don't think you want this. I said, there's nothing wrong with you. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with me. And like, we have a great time and we have a great relationship. But what you're doing with your career, what you're doing with your life is what I see your focus on super heavy. And I said, that's okay.
Right.
That's the thing about it. That's
Right.
fine.
That's
Right.
okay.
But I'm not that person that's going to sit around and just kick it when you're going this way and I'm ready to go this way.
Right.
And so I literally had that conversation. And so after that, we stopped talking in that manner as far as like dating
Right.
and chilling. And so again, there was no hard feelings. It was kind of
Right.
like at first, like it was like, dang, like
Weird.
right? But there was no hard feelings.
Right.
Like we've talked since, we've hung out since, and it's cool. So, but we just are not on that level anymore.
Right.
And I said that it's okay. And so I know this kind of
Well,
streamlined.
but taking it back to the topic, it does tie in because if this person is headed towards marriage and this person is just like headed towards their career, that may create that barrier of sharing those deep details of their past. And not saying it creates a barrier like they're covering it, but it's like, I don't feel it's necessary to share this right now because I'm not necessarily looking at this person as a husband or this person as a wife. So in my mind, if I'm dating you without a purpose, I'm going to just go on 15 dates like you're saying you're not going to do. And I don't feel like it's necessary to share that I have filed bankruptcy 10 times.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Or that I've been divorced 6 times. Or that I used to date men or women. Or that I'm going through foreclosure right now as we speak. Because I don't look at you as, I'm not looking at you like you're not husband material, but I'm not looking at you in any sense of purpose. And I think that could possibly cause people to not share something very detrimental to your relationship when you think is appropriate. You know what I mean? But 3 years into marriage, I mean, that's a whole
That's
other
deep.
situation.
That's
no excuse.
You done already got engaged and you've been engaged and went through that whole process. So,
Went through
that may be
counseling.
why you didn't tell at the beginning.
Right. Let me say this real quick. Like, going back to the 3 years into marriage, and I think, Dre, you might have touched on it a little bit, but if you're 3 years into marriage and you're just now sharing this, let me back up to the points before you shared it. So if you felt like for whatever reason you couldn't or didn't have the ability to share this with your wife, then I personally, again, my opinion, feel that you have things in you that you still need to be delivered from.
Right.
And so let me say this. To me, that doesn't even necessarily mean that you need to be delivered from homosexuality or you still act that out. But like there are things that people can be delivered from, like guilt,
Right.
like shame.
Yep.
Like that's a
Yep.
spirit that
Yeah.
can come
That's
on
good.
you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so
That's
if you
good.
have guilt and shame on you where that's literally covering you to the point where you can't share it with the person that's supposed to be the closest person to you, you're now
Right.
one unit,
Right.
then there is something in you that you still need to get worked out of
Right.
you
That's good.
as a person.
That's good.
And that's the thing, like that's why confession is so important, because it would eat at you day by day, week by week, month
Yep.
by month if you do not let it out
Yeah.
and be honest and be transparent with yourself first,
Yep.
but then with other people. Because for so many years, or what I have seen is that people will literally try to hold something in secret in the cave and think, you know, we all have this cliche saying like, man, like I'm just going to not share that and I'm going to like just bury it to the day I die. And you don't want to be that way,
Right.
because you're literally not being your true self, where God can literally do things through you if you are trying to hold everything captive inside of you and not releasing it.
Right.
And so I definitely think that, you know, when it comes to a relationship, that should be open transparency. Why? It's because the two is becoming one.
Right.
And that's the key. Like, if something on my body was like failing me in some form of fashion, then that means that the whole entire body is not functioning the correct way.
Right.
Right. And if I'm not aware of it, right, like if I didn't go to the doctor, or if I didn't go to a physician and they did not like highlight that to me, but I'm seeing something in my marriage or I'm seeing something within my body, and I'm like, man, like something is going on, but I don't know what it really is. Like your wife could literally be looking at you like, man, like why is he like so triggered when I say this, or triggered when I say that?
Right.
Like, what is that?
Right.
And you never shared it.
Right.
Right? You never, or in a sense, when we talk about two shall become one body, you never went to the doctor.
Right.
You never knew that you had cancer. You never knew you had a disease,
Right.
or whatever the case may be, because you were so scared to literally put yourself in that situation where something could be a confession.
Right.
Right? And so it could be fixable if you are just honest. I think that's number one. Number two, I definitely think, going back to that purpose thing, I think that's so very important.
Yes.
Because purpose frames your worldview.
Yeah.
It literally frames your mind as well. Literally, like, I can tell how you view the world based on your purpose.
Right.
Based on what your passion and your desire is about. So if we're getting into a relationship or we're starting to date and you have no desire in like marriage or kids or family, then guess what? Your thought pattern, your worldview is going to be skewed, or it's just going to be different than my worldview.
Yep.
So how can we coexist?
Right.
How can two walk together if we don't agree?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I definitely believe that, like, the goal in a dating world, or the goal in marriage, is agreement.
Right.
Because we can walk like a powerful force when it comes to purpose, when it comes to desires and goals, and the way that we view the world, the way that we even view ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? Like, just going back to your sister, it's like there's something in the way that she either view herself or she views the world of why she don't want to be married. And so it's like, what is that?
Right. And off of that, but I'm going to go back to something too. And we've had those discussions as a group of sisters. She has said multiple times she's just selfish. She doesn't want to.
See?
She doesn't want to inconvenience herself. She doesn't want to consider someone, and that's just where she is right now. It's not like, and like you talked about the person you dated before, whose their career was what they focused on. May change for my sister at some point, and she's not the type of person that's going to be like, oh, this is it forever. She may meet somebody who changes that, or she may have a change in her heart. But this is where she is right now. And so dating someone right now for her, it wouldn't be a good fit because you're so different. Where there are times in life where differences don't matter. When it comes to dating, if I'm dating for the purpose and you're not, then that's not going to work well because I'm going to expect something, some end to happen. And you're like, no, I'm just good over here for right now. I'm working on becoming a CEO of a company right now. That's what my focus is on right now. I'm not worried about having kids. I don't want any more kids. Shalise don't want no more kids either. So whoever I date can't be someone who wants to have children because that's not a desire of mine. But going back to what you said about where the two become one, biblically, our relationship with our spouse should be parallel to the relationship that we have with Christ.
Right.
And so we talked about having everything sharing. Marcus said you should share everything. And I am totally like, that is 100% on point because God knows everything that we have going on, but we also have to confess to him. Right? In order for us to get released, in order for us to get delivered, in order for us to walk out of shame, walk out of guilt, walk into freedom, being able to share our testimonies, being able to feel uncovered and not feel naked. Right? I can be uncovered, but not feel naked when I have a covering over me. That's right? Good. And so
real good.
When I have a relationship with Christ first, that's healthy, it allows me to have a relationship with my spouse, which is parallel.
That's good.
And so when I don't have a relationship with Christ that's healthy, my relationship with my spouse is not going to be healthy, which means I will feel guilt about things in my past, which means I won't share certain things, which means I will have pride about certain things, or I will have things that don't line up because my relationship with Christ isn't lined up. And so I feel like the whole situation is off-kiltered if your foundation as a marriage is Christ. 3 years in, and you're just now telling me, I question our trust, and I question your relationship with Christ. And so, yes, I look at you different as a husband now because I'm looking for a husband who is rooted and grounded. And let's also clarify, this was not a real situation.
Oh, no, I have never been gay ever in my life.
But I have been with you for 3 years, and we married, and at our wedding, we had the Bible, and we had people praying over us, and we had people singing, and you have led me as the priest of our house for 3 years, and now you done went to Bible college, and
got a whole little degree.
You've been praying over our family for the last 3 years. You've been leading our family, and you've had this, not something you forgot.
Right.
Not something that you just overlooked, but you just didn't feel it was important to tell me. Like, I want to know why you didn't tell me. And then, like she said, now I question if you still deal with it.
Yeah. So to jump off what you said about being like on the same page, I kind of disagree because Dre and I, like, a little background on me, I never saw myself being married. I kind of can relate to your sister. Like, I was very selfish. Didn't want to consider, wanted to do my own thing, wanted to travel. When Dre came along, like, that was still my energy, right? Like,
absolutely.
That was still my energy. I didn't switch up, like, but we built a friendship first.
Right.
And so based off of that and just, like, me getting to know him getting to know me, I evolved.
Right.
And our purpose then began to align. And what I didn't see before, after building a solid foundation on friendship,
right,
and, you know, him being so consistent, we were able to get to that place of, okay, I can't see myself marrying
right
you.
But you have to be, that's what I'm saying, like, you have to, if that's what I said, if she doesn't change or she meets someone who makes her change,
right,
but if that's not the case and you're completely focused and you're not trying to, you made a decision not to, then it won't align. But eventually, if you're not going in, if he wasn't going in and like, marry me, I don't think you ever should just walk into something and say, like, you talked about, I'm gay, or like, I want to be a wife. Like, I'm not going on day one and saying, marry me. Right. But like Marcus said, discussion about, you know, what is your goal, even if it's not with me. Do you ever desire to be married? Right. And if your answer is no, why? Like, what is causing that? I do want to know what causes that, because I may decide, okay, let's just be friends, because maybe it's that he don't have himself together right now, and I may just be his friend. I'm not going to be his friend with the intentions of, like, maybe he'll change and want to marry me, but like, I'll just be his friend. If for some reason this is what is meant to be, then it'll come back, you know what I mean, around as, like you said, where y'all ended up marrying each other.
Yeah.
I do think like that's the power of a godly man, because men have the ability to walk in a woman's life and can change, or even us together can evolve ultimately. But you may come in this relationship or in a friendship, and you have your own preconceived or what? Preconceived like notions of like different things that you came in a relationship with. Like, I'm selfish, I may be insecure about some things, or I like my independency. And when you meet a godly man in your life, it seems like, man, like, this guy is different. This guy is different because he carries the presence of God. This guy is different because there's something about him that I want to evolve. I want to change. I don't want to stay the same. And that's the power of relationships in general, that you don't have to stay the same in the relationship. So when you do meet that guy, or even that girl, because let me just say this, although that, I was probably a contributor towards her change, but she changed me in a lot of ways. Right. Like, I started to look at myself differently. I wanted to become a better man because of her and because of me meeting her. And so I think it works both ways. And I think that's the power of a godly woman and a godly man that can come together, and that iron can sharpen each other, where we can evolve, and it could be a beautiful sight.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's good.
I love it.
So, final thoughts, guys, on the statement. Kia, what's your final thought on the situation?
Just, be honest up front.
Right.
Don't
Be honest.
Don't choose for me. Like, don't make the decision for me. I'm big on, like, let's make a decision together, or even not together. Like, I want to make my own decision. So don't choose what you think is best for me.
Right.
Be honest with me from jump.
That's
I
good.
wouldn't leave you though, babe. I would
She gonna hold on to you.
She gonna hold on.
my feelings would be hurt, but I wouldn't leave you.
Definitely feelings to be devastated.
Yeah, devastated. Yeah,
Hurt.
Marcus, final thoughts?
I don't really know, man. As far as final thoughts, I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, my final thoughts, I feel like it's a lot, but my final thoughts would probably be this: as a man and a woman, whether you're single, whether you're dating or already in a relationship, be open to what is not necessarily what you would always look for or see yourself or the person you would see yourself talking to,
Right.
or the past that somebody might have had. And I don't know if I'm stealing somebody else's thoughts right now, but also I want to say this, like, your foundation is so key, because if you don't know who you are, who are we? If you don't know who you are, then there's no way for you to ultimately be able to accept someone for who they are, or who they might have been in the past and have changed. And so I always tell people, if you're not good inside, and if you're not good with yourself and just overall, there's no way for you to have a clear lens at looking at somebody else and what they bring to the table, what they've been through, what they've experienced, and how they might have changed or evolved. And so, so just openness, I guess, will be my final thought.
My final thoughts is, everything you do in life, make sure that you are doing it purposeful, but do it honestly. Like, be truthful with yourself, because I think many of us, we go through life and, we get into relationships, or we even go to a company. Let's talk about a business. You get hired, onto a company, and you're just not honest with yourself, and you're doing things just not purposeful. What that does is it's going to lead to a dead end. When you don't understand where you are going, you don't understand who you are. And like Marcus said, like, the foundation got to be very strong, but you also got to be open with yourself first. I think that a lot of us, we lack a self-awareness. And if you are lacking self-awareness, then you're going to also be lacking awareness, somebody being aware of looking at you. You're not going to see how they view you, how they perceive you, because you don't even see yourself. And I think that's very important, is because, we all supposed to be a light. We all supposed to be a witness. And if you are not, like, looking at yourself and saying, you know what, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, or I need to confess to this, I need to confess to that, then what's going to happen is that you're tainting your witness. And you want to just make sure that you're moving along life of where you are consciously aware that I have a responsibility and assignment to touch people, to help people, to impact people, to be effective. And you can't do that if you are not looking at yourself and saying, you know what, let me look within my heart, my soul, my mind. Let me look within myself to see what are some things that I haven't confessed to. What are some things that I'm holding on to? What are some things that I'm not, like, letting my friends know, or my family know, or even my spouse? What are some things that I'm trying to hide? And that's not what you want to do, is because at the end of the day, you are damaging your soul. And if you don't know what the soul is, it's your mind, your will, and your emotions. You are damaging yourself, and that's going to cause you to have division, whether you see it or not.
That's good. My final thoughts is there's a couple things. The truth always sets us free, right? Oftentimes, like, if I'm struggling financially or with homework or at work, we find ourselves in this frenzy of, like, anxiety or having panic attacks or whatever the case is, because we're trying to handle things secretly on our own. And once you finally say, hey, I need help with this, it's like you feel the weight off your shoulders. I tell my boys that all the time. Jeremiah lost my debit card one time in the grocery store, and he was in there for 15 minutes. And I called him, like, what is happening? He's like, Mommy, I can't find your debit card. He was walking around the store by himself looking for the card. And as soon as I got in there, he took a big sigh of relief, because I was able to go to the customer service and they had my card. But because he was trying to handle it on his own, he was stressing himself out.
Right.
But as soon as he admitted and acknowledged, I can't find this, I can't do it on my own, I'm hiding this little secret, it was like he could breathe again, because then someone is there to help me through it. And so one of the things that we do often is we will hide our secrets. We will hide our struggles. We will hide our problems because we're afraid of being embarrassed. We're afraid of letting someone down. We're afraid of someone walking away. We're afraid of them not receiving us. But when you finally admit it and just get it out, then you're allowing it to be dealt with and handled, whether it's handled properly or that someone walks away from you. You're allowing it to be dealt with. And then you can start working through, how do I resolve X, Y, and Z, right? So my son may have gotten punished and he may have gotten in trouble, but at least now we can figure out how to find her card, right? And at least we don't have to worry about the repercussions of not having this debit card. And so I would say, like, my closing thoughts are, give people who you are, the true you, and let them deal with it, handle it, and work through whatever that looks like. And that way y'all can build on. And as a Christian, that should be how you are with Christ. Give him the real you, and work through whatever those problems, issues, or whatever are. Because if you try to cover it, then they can never help you walk through.
That's good.
So that's it.
That's it. That's a wrap.
That's it.
Yeah.
You were they giggling like that for? Like what?
That's a wrap.
What is this
That's
giggle?
a wrap on our first podcast.
Hey, we in here.
We in
Wow.
here.
We are in
I
here.
mean, we just
That was good.
that was good. We
You
just
know,
did
we
our
could
first
go on and on
podcast,
for
y'all.
more.
Our first
Man.
podcast, y'all. We
That's
did
crazy. Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
Just soak it in.
So Marcus, tell people.
No.
it. We were still
Yes.
soaking it in.
No, we
Right,
can't.
she a real
I
rush.
know, right?
Anywho, since Patty over here wanna just be rushing people, hey,
Carry on.
hey, please, 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 though, on a serious note, thank y'all again. Please, if you haven't already, subscribed, liked our pages, followed our pages. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we are on YouTube. Please, please, please share with your friends, share with your family, share with everybody you know. We said this actually in our live the other day. Like, we're not just trying to gain followers to say we have this big following, but we want to be an influence to people. We want to be able to help people hear things that they may not hear elsewhere. We want to be able to show people how we live, who we are, and just how you can walk and journey through life transparently with your family, with your friends. And so, again, follow, share, subscribe, and like our pages on YouTube. Please subscribe and also make sure that you're getting alerts. Hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Hit the bell to get alerts when we have videos going out, when we have things coming up. What was that?
He's in Costa
I
Rica.
did a little shit.
Costa
Rica.
Yo, I love Costa Rica. I just busted my
Hit your
chin.
chin.
Wow.
Right. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, we in here.
Well, until next time, y'all. That's the tea with Who Are We?
Bam.
Yeah.
Love
yeah,
Bam.
yeah.